Hello everyone, welcome to the Tech Podcast series. This is Lakshit Pant from Azure Developer Community, and today we are back here again with another episode. In this episode, we will be having our guest speaker from Genius Consultants, Mr. Rajendra Prasad, the founder and CMD of Genius Consultant Limited. They have been a leading player in India for the HR and solution industry. So we'll learn from his experience about his product, the wide ranges of services that his organization provides, and also from payroll management, a different from HR solutions, from the recruitment scenario in at present market, and the new generative AI tools coming into the market. We'll try to catch up on every aspect of the industry through this episode, starting from a quick introduction of Rajin. So, if you could introduce yourself first for our audience person.
Thank you, Lakshit. I am RP Yadav. I represent a company called Genius Consultants Limited. And Genius is 31-year-old company, not old, young company. And we are in the business of staffing and HR services. Staffing means, we have around 70,000 employees, and they are deputed in many organizations in the field of any area, whether it is e-commerce or could be artificial intelligence or a IT company, consumer products, any space. Diverse way 70,000 people are working. Besides that, we also do the recruitment, compliance, payroll, background checks, and also the facility management. These are the services which we provide in the country. We have around 600 employees which are directly on the payroll of the company, and 70,000 is also some employees, and we are spread across the country with the 16 offices all over India. So the basic background of the company and the persons which I am. I have been heading the company for the last 31 years. I started with a seed capital of rupees 70,000 31 years back, but 70,000 rupees in those days was a big money. Today, even 7 lakhs is very small peanut, but those days 70,000 was a big money for me. So with that, I started,
Right.
and fortunately, doing well.
Wow, wow. Remembering 3 decades back, 70,000 when you're putting into the into a startup ecosystem, that's very rare to see. And watching your success really defines your dedication to it. Now, starting from my first question, that is more from a consulting purpose, right? What do you see? What's the hype of this consulting industry, and what makes it so big and impactful? There has been multiple ways where people are exploring and building something really great, and they do really great significance of the consulting firms, right? What are the key skills, I will say, in general purpose required in consulting industry, sir?
So, Lakshit, let me clarify. Although our name is Genius Consultants Limited, but we are not consultant. We
Yeah.
are a staffing and HR services company. However, to give you the mixed answer, the consulting means like would be a company like Ernst and Young, Price Waterhouse. The other company will be like a consulting company. So, consulting company business is quite large in India, and today the consulting is taken on the financial areas, on the business area, on the HR services area, on the ITs area. So there is a huge industry. It's an industry of $80 billion over all over the world. But coming back to our industry, which is a staffing and HR services industry, it is about $186 billion industry across the world. And in India at the moment, staffing and HR services is around $30 billion. Out of that, $16 billion is only staffing. Another $14 is the complete HR services gamut. So that's a big size market at the moment in India, and it is growing at the rate of anything around 15 to 18% CGP at this moment in India, and it is a great future. Why it is a great future? Because the penetration level in staffing industry is just about 1.8% at the moment, and with just
Wow.
1.8%, if it is a $16 billion, you can imagine when the penetration will be at 5% and 6%, then what kind of size of industry it will be.
Right, and when we talk about India, right, it's always about the mass that we have here, that we cater. talking the the story behind, I just really wanted to know what has been your inspiration 3 decades back, starting a venture into the field of HR solutions. Is it due to the internet revolution that might have occurred, maybe due to the internet revolution, or what was the initial thought of starting a HR firm, sir, solution firm?
No, actually, Lakshit, there are two things which prompted me to come into the business. One is that my father used to work in the employment exchange, and because he used to work in the employment exchange, so he used to help the people to get the job. In terms of get them making the card and then taking for the interview. So out of that, some guy will get selected. So he was a very respected person in the village, in the area where we were staying. So that really influenced me right from the childhood, that if I have to do something in my life, and if I am respected, then probably I will do. That was the childhood dream. But subsequently, when I started doing the job, and 16 years I did the job in the last company, my boss sent me to Delhi, and I went to Delhi. And because in that time he had sacked 31 people, which was in the factory and the offices, and he said, you go and recruit and build the team. So I went there,
Okay.
I contacted all kind of consultant in those days, and after contacting, I realized while recruiting this, I filled up 31 people, staying there about 2 weeks in Delhi. I realized that this is a business, one day I'll make it in. So I came back and I did the research for almost about 2 years. And after doing the research, I decided to get into the business, and I resigned and I started the recruitment company first. So
Wow.
that was the two reasons. But from the recruitment, I moved into the various HR services and staffing business.
Wow, in fact, you have already answered my next question when, while I was about to ask you, like, how much research it takes and what it looks like to validate your idea that is it gonna work or not. But you have already answered it, right? 2 years in the research, that's something, self-answerable, In fact, sir, I was talking to this other day with some, folk in the Gen Z field, and he's like, I have this idea. I've been looking after multiple ideas that I get in my mind, but every time I do not see any outcome. It's just like someone building it on their own, but they are very successful. But when I try it on my own, it's not like, it's like there is no one using it, right? So it's more about research that you put in about, is there a right market to tap in, right? So 2 years in the research before starting the venture is the significant amount of time that you have done, sir. Now, while I was doing my homework for this podcast, right, I saw some crazy stats right over there. 4 lakh professionals across various verticals. How did you manage to recruit all those? And I just wanted to know the model. When you say like these 17,000 people are there, from 1,700 people are there from the hiring and recruitment perspective, right? How do you manage this, and how the model really works, right? How, because these are not full-time employees. So how do you manage all this recruiting form? Please enlighten us
Okay.
on this.
So, Lakit, what happens, when we started the company, we started as a recruitment company. So, recruitment is the base. And because of the recruitment, we did very well and we got known into the market. And most of the clients in India, they know that we are a very good recruiter. So recruitment based business came to me. So now if I look at the recruitment, first is the perm recruitment. Perm means permanent recruitment, where we recruit the people and we give it to the client and they become the employee of the company. So in such recruitment, we do recruitment for senior people, we do middle level people, we do for all the industry which is non-IT industry, we do the for IT industry. So these are the perm recruitment. Second is the temp recruitment. Temp recruitment means, we recruit the guys which are anything between freshers to 5 years experience, which is the larger bucket. We recruit and we take them in our role, and they work being our employee at the premises of the company. So in such
Okay.
recruitment, temp recruitment, we do recruitment for all kind of industry. It could be IT, it could be manufacturing, it could be consumer durable, it could be industrial, it could be retail, it could be e-commerce, any kind of chemical industries. So while what happens, this 70,000 people which we have, the attrition rate in this is almost about 5%. So three
Okay.
and a half thousand people lives every every month, and I have to replace that 3,500 people every month. Beside that, we sign the new client, and then we also do the perm recruitment in non-IT and IT. So combining this both, we have done the recruitment even more than the 4 lakh people have been recruited through us. But out of that, 70,000 is on our roll at the moment, which are working with many companies, and around 600 employees are working in our company. So that is the background of 4 lakh of recruitment.
Wow, got it, sir. And while you have been doing this for a couple of decades now and working with so many great stats, right? What are the emerging trends that have you observed in the HR services industry, and any specific thoughts that you are aligned as a CEO of a company that this is where in this particular direction we should head towards at present? How do you analyze the trend?
So in HR services, there are two domains, and I would like to talk two separately. One is the staffing industry, what could be the trend, and second is the HR services, what could be the trend, So
Right.
let me tell in staffing, staffing when we started, so we used to work with a huge margin, and people used to say that why do I give you the people on your role, and he will work at my premises? Better I'll take on my role. So in those days, it was very difficult and hard time to explain all our clients, saying that look, you are not specialized in the recruitment, you are not specialized in the compliance. You don't have the network of so many offices across the country. So we will recruit, we'll replace, we will compensate, we will take care of the compliances, we will take care of the onboarding, we will take care of the outgoing, we'll take care of the full and final, and you just get it the job done through them. So you should be more concerned about the productivity rather than going all these areas.
Right.
So that is how the business of staffing started in India. But going forward, what happened? Staffing has gone into gig. In those days, we used to recruit only for monthly salary. That people will get the month. Today, the people are available with weekly salary, with a day salary, with hourly salary. So that is the one trend has come up. That from monthly salary it has gone up to even the hourly salary.
Right.
The people used to be taken in those days only for working 1 month. People are now working for a week also, for a few days also, and for hours also. That's the one trend.
Right.
Second trend has come, the gig staffing. Now the gig staffing is provided. That means the same person will do the three work. So I will have an employee who will also pick up 5 parcels from company A, 3 parcels from company B, and 2 parcels from company C. So that is known
Okay.
as a gig staffing. So that is the another thing which has come up a trend. And in staffing, the other trend is coming up. So earlier we used to do only staffing. That means we'll give the people, we'll do the payrolling to outgoing, full and final. Now is coming that you have to manage also certain service level agreement, manage services. For example, if I'm giving people for the managing the tower in the telecom industry, then we have to be also responsible for the spare parts management in the tower management, uptime of the tower management, any downtime of the tower management. So entire thing we'll have to manage. So that is known as a managed services. So staffing has gone from monthly to day and hours. Staffing has gone from staffing to gig staffing. Staffing had gone from staffing to managed services. So these are the trend which has gone into staffing. Now, if I come to the HR services, see, HR services, traditionally all the companies used to keep HR manager, industrial manager, factory level people, and they used to do of their own completely recruitment, appraisal, training, most of the thing company. But today, I think the trend is that HR team is there to interact with the management and the outside vendors. So most of the services under the HR domain, right from recruitment to taking the people on the contract to even doing the payrolling, the compliance management, all are getting outsourced. So the core value of the HR department is basically to see that the people engagement is right. Upskilling and skilling is done, and the productivity is there. That is the management they will do. Balance all other activity, right from recruitment to training to appraisal. All thing has been outsourced to people. This is the one trend. Second trend
Wow.
is that HR services is becoming completely technology driven. So in the most of the activity now, technology has come rather than doing the manual.
So, when we talk about, okay, technology is the one, definitely a great aspect that we look after when we talk about HR industry, right? But picking a little bit to this podcast, the challenges. One challenge you have already mentioned about when you were, on the initial days when you were exploring, like you have to, the payroll system that you have to tell the clients that this is how we'll manage it because you do not have much offices, much not clients. That's why we are keeping the person on our payroll, and this is how we will manage, right? So, so again, I just wanted to know what are the other significant challenges that you see the HR industry had at present, which are in some sense, restricts you to scale up, or maybe any industry to scale up for anyone who is working in the HR industry. What is something that you see is working as a barrier, or not like as a barrier, but kind of a shell that's not letting any HR firm to go out of that bubble?
So, like any industry, Lakshit, I think HR industry, the biggest challenge is always, having the right talent and retaining the talent. Because after all, this is a service industry, and your machinery, plant, raw material, everything you have your own employees. There is nothing more than
Right.
that. Like in our company, it is the people. People
Right.
are the asset, the factory, everything the people are. So that is the biggest challenge any HR industry will have. Recruiting the right talent, retaining the right talent, and skilling and upskilling the right talent. This is the one challenge that every organization will have. Second challenge HR industry is having is the technology. The technology is changing every day, and since you are not a manufacturing industry, you are a service industry. So the access to the capital is basically what you have earned and saved, and from there only you can invest into the technology. Unlike in manufacturing industry, what happens, you can take the loan, capital loan, many loans you can take from the bank. But in the services industry, that is a limitation, because you don't have any thing to show to the bank that I got such and such thing, you plant necessary against this, you hold it and give me the loan. So that chances. So this is the second, is the technology is another predicament at the moment in the HR industry. But I think uh, people will overcome come it definitely. And third is always for every company is the ongoing the compliances. See, compliances scene is completely changing. Compliances means, right from GST to the income tax to the PF, the ESI, labor welfare, labor law, all compliances are changing. And under this changing compliances, you need to have people who are specialized, who understand that. Because when you go to the client, you have to give the right advice to them. If you don't give the right advice, the client is not going to retain you. So that is another challenge, is the compliances, learning about the compliances, and telling the right compliances advisory to the client. So these are the few challenges which I see in the HR industry at the moment.
Right. When you said mentioned about the technology, right? I now moving to the tech part of it, right? The future emerging trend that has been in the market for a couple of these years, right? After post COVID, there has been a buzz. Machine learning, artificial intelligence has always they have been a core part of the industry. It's not a new term, as in when we talk about, but it has become a really fancy word when we talk about the 2024 scenario. How do you see it as a tech perspective and from a use case perspective in HR industry? Because I have seen a couple of startups, a couple of people trying out something from a staffing and recruiting, or maybe interviewing through the HR ecosystem, right? Interviewing through people or resources through artificial intelligence. How do you see the significance there, or is there any other use case, sir, where you see the significance of AI coming in next coming years?
See, uh, technology, without technology, you cannot work. For example,
Right.
if I take the example of my company, our company, uh, just few years back, about 5 6 years back, bank account we were opening by calling the bank people in our office, or our people used to go to the bank for opening the office.
Hmm.
The salary transfer, we used to make an Excel sheet, and we go to the bank, we give the data and details, then we give the check amount, and then the salary will be transferred to the employees. Interview, in my lifetime, I have seen the interview. For interviewing the final interview, people used to travel from Bombay to Delhi, or Delhi to Calcutta, or Calcutta to Bombay. I have
Right.
traveled with many clients for senior positions for taking the final interview. Uh, the payrolling used to be a big pain, because it used to be all by the Excel sheet, and while doing the Excel sheet, there will be always some error, because one guy who has done in one formula, some guy will change the formula. So
Right.
instead of paying maybe to someone, 60,000, he might get 600 rupees also. It has happened with us.
Right.
And there used to be always complaint, because in those days we had 7,000, 3,000 employees to transfer the salary. So these, and today, compared to that, if you look at today, bank, we don't need to go to the bank. Bank doesn't need to come to us.
Right.
Entire transaction is sitting in the office, and with the click of a button. 70,000 people salary. If I want to pay at 5 p.m. today, all I need to do is, I should have all the data available in the format which I want, and I click up a button. 4 o'clock, I click the button, and by 4:30, everybody will get the money. So that
Right.
is that is what the technology has played the role. Second, the payrolling. When we do the payrolling, it is, earlier, we used to get the photocopy of the register or the Excel sheet. Today it is not. I mean, today, from their laptop, or from their attendance system, it will be captured directly to the web, on our system, and the payrolling will be done automatically by the software. So the payrolling of 70,000 people, not only salary is there, reimbursement is there, PF is there, ESI is there. So many complex natures, different kind of salaries are there, because there are different kind of company. Somebody pays PF on the gross salary, somebody pays on the basic, somebody pays on the total. Somebody will pay 20% bonus, some company will pay 10% bonus, some company will pay
Right.
8.33% bonus, some company pays for 6 month maternity, somebody pays for 1 year maternity. See, all complex nature, but all complex has become so simple to do the pay. Interview. Every day I conduct the interview only while moving on the car, or over the mobile through the camera, like we are doing the interview in the studio sitting here. So
Right.
technology is playing a great role at the moment, but going forward, I think more great role is required, and it will keep on playing the very important role in our business of HR industry.
Wow. Now, looking after your thoughts, right, it has been a kind pleasure for me to host you for this podcast. And as a final note, I would really like to ask this, like, what advice you would want to give for our aspiring entrepreneurs who are listening to this podcast? Maybe those who want to get in the HR solution industry, or maybe those who for any industry, like they are just trying to build out their career. What is the advice that you want to, give our last our audience with? Yeah.
Yeah. So anybody who wants to come in to become an entrepreneur, or so matter even a good professional, the first thing is that, please complete your education. The first thing is to complete your education. Everybody cannot be Dhirubhai Ambani without education. Will make a big empire. That is one in million cases. So
Right.
first is the complete your. Don't be in a hurry. Complete your education. After completing your education, have a couple of years of experience. Either working at daddy's place or working outside. Have a few years of experience. After having this experience and education, do a proper research on on the strength which you have. See, everybody have got certain strength and weakness. Every human is unique. So as a human, first of all, you understand what is your strength, which area you feel you are very proud of, you are very skilled, you feel fascinated about that. This is the thing which I would like to do. So whatever area you are very passionate about, do the research. And research time could be anything between 1 year, 2 year. Research means one is that you do a research, and today research is not that difficult. In our time, research was very difficult because Google is one of the best master for you. Everything is available on the Google, so research is not that difficult. One is the research, and second, you impanel yourself to work on such research which you have done with your competition, likely to be competition. So after doing the research, after working as a case study on that, then you come into the business. And when you come into the business, because today a startup can get the money from many investors. In our time, we had no investor. So it was so difficulty to get the money. But today, so many investors are there, and if your project is on a research based, and your project is very good, lucrative, and more than that, you have a passion to make it successful, you will definitely get the money from the investor, and then you kick it. But after that, the consistency, the hard work, if you fall down, then to getting up maybe 100 times, um, working more than 10 12 hours every day, building a team, ensuring that your earning is more than the expense. It should not be that your expense is more than the earning. Many people does because I got the money from investors, so doesn't matter. You have seen the example of Byju's, how big they become, but finally it busted. So the basic ingredient always is that whatever I spend, I earn much more than that. So expenditure has to be less than the earning. These are the
Right.
few tips. If somebody takes care, he will be a great entrepreneur, in my opinion.
Wow, that's so kind of you sharing these insights with us, and really grateful for your time that you have spent these 27 minutes with us for this podcast. And it was my pleasure to host this podcast with you. And to all our listeners, we hope you all got all these insights from Rajendra sir. And we are coming up with lots of initiatives, and definitely a couple of more episodes coming in for the Tech Podcast series. Stay tuned and keep learning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Lakshit. All the best.